I've sewn you up, I've set your bones, but I won't bury you. Buried enough members of the Wayne family.
The Dark Knight Rises, directed again by Christopher Nolan, music by Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard, story by David S. Goyer and Christopher Nolan, screenplay, all that stuff, you know, with Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's brother involved. We got the same players back. We got Christian Bale as Batman, we got Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, but this time round we have a few new players involved. We got the new villain, Bane, played by the phenomenal Tom Hardy.
Final boss, engaged.
Dark Knight Rises is interesting because I don't enjoy this as much as The Dark Knight. Maybe my nostalgia glasses are on too tight, because it's like, okay, I feel the opening, you know, it starts with the Harvey Dent thing, you know, like it's picking up where from The Dark Knight left off. But then we get into this opening heist segment, you know, that's kind of reminiscent of The Dark Knight with the Joker bank heist situation. So we got this plane crash where, you know, this Dr. Pavel guy shows up. And then the CIA dude is like, you know, I want to know about Bane. And so he's pretending to kill these goons. And then Bane shows up, you know, like, what if they killed Bane first? But whatever. So they got Bane, and then you got the ultimate reveal, you know, like the Joker situation. But it's not as iconic. And so you got Bane, and then goons show up, and plane, you know, and then it's like, you know, this blood transfusion, whatever thing. And you're like, what the fuck's going on? And it's just like, it's just not as iconic as the Dark Knight opening. It's you know, cinematic and it's spectacle and it's great and everything, but it's like Tom Cruise trying to live up to his next opening stunt. It's like, oh, how can we top the tallest building in the world? Oh, you know, we're gonna do it with this stunt and the next stunt and the next stunt. It's like, you gotta go big or you gotta go home. It's like, how can we do things bigger and grander? And with this, it's like, there's no way, you're doomed. There's no way you can top the Dark Knight opening scene with the Joker. There's no way. You tried with this Bane situation with the plane crash, and it's cinematic and it's spectacle and it's great, but it's just not as good as the Dark Knight opening. I'm sorry. Bane is here. Why is Bane so important? See, the only thing that is intriguing about this movie is the mystery. That's what holds you in, because you're like, who is Miranda Tate? Another interesting character we're here for. And it's like, okay, Miranda Tate, played by Marion Cotillard, and she's phenomenal. She's a great actor in this movie, but it's like, mystery. Who is she? Why is she here? Why is she so important? This movie just spoon feeds you information, and it's like, oh, 8 years after the events of The Dark Knight, and it's like, this is so sudden. This feels like a fourth movie in a 4-movie series, where it's like, where's the third movie? We lost the third movie. There is no third movie. It's unfortunate, you know, Heath Ledger passed away, because I truly believe that, man, if Heath Ledger had lived, or if they just wanted to recast, they could have made the third movie.
I think you and I are destined to do this forever.
It feels like it's too soon. He just got off of his feet as this new Batman, and now all of a sudden, you know, Rachel dies and the Joker pushed him to his limits, and now he retires for 8 years, you know, and there's no crime. I mean, this feels like a fourth movie.
When you and Dad cleaned up the streets, you cleaned them good. Pretty soon we'll be chasing down overdue library books.
You don't really get the time to soak all of this in. It's like, we gotta go here, we gotta go, just jump here, all this stuff, all this information.
Name's Jimmy, he's from St. Swithin's. It's the boys on my coach symbol.
And you gotta absorb it really quickly, and that's the thing. The mystery is what holds you in. You know, Christopher Nolan's a fantastic director, you know, cinematic, spectacle, music, Hans Zimmer, James Newton Howard, all that stuff, great cinematography, Wally Pfister's great, you know, this feels like a grandiose movie. But then when you really look at it, you know, and you pay attention to it, you're like, regardless of all of the beautiful, grandiose technical aspects, the story in this movie is just so shallow. It's just like spoon feeding you stuff, and it's just like the mystery is what holds your attention. You're like, I want to know what the fuck is going on here. Then you got this new character played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who plays James Blake, who's out later on to revealed to be Robin, whatever, you know, so Batman does kind of have a sidekick in this movie. I will say this, the one character that is introduced in this movie that is super spectacular is Anne Hathaway as Selina Kyle, man. She crushes it. I want to say damn near she holds this movie on her shoulders, bro. She is up there with Heath Ledger's Joker for me. Every time Anne Hathaway's on screen when I'm bored with this movie, Anne Hathaway kicks it up 10 notches with her performance alone.
I need to know what you did with Bruce Wayne's fingerprints.
I sold his prints to Daggett. For something that doesn't even exist.
There's this situation where, you know, Selina Kyle is setting up Bruce Wayne to steal his fingerprints, and she goes into his safe and gets his fingerprints and steals his mother's necklace, you know, and then she flirts with this police chief or whoever the hell he is, and then, you know, she convinces him to go with her to this place where, you know, this guy named John Daggett, who's trying to steal Bruce Wayne's company, you know, hires Selina Kyle to steal this Bruce Wayne's fingerprints. So go to this location, and Selina Kyle's trying to sell the fingerprints to John Daggett's right-hand man. And, you know, they set her up to kill her, but she brings the police guy that she, you know, set up in the beginning, whatever. And then, you know, it's a good moment where, you know...
2 seconds later.
And so now, finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. Batman versus Bane. It's cinematically interesting, you know, because there's no music being played, but the fight choreography is awful. It's god awful. It's like, man, okay, so it's like I was getting to. Bane's set up to be this bigger, larger than life villain, but in the end, he's just some henchman from Miranda Tate, and he gets blown away. And it's just like awful. And then you chalk that up and you connect that with, okay, this fight scene. This is what we're leading to. In the comic books, Bane destroys Batman, he breaks his back. So we get to this moment. And Christopher Nolan, you know, he's a great director. He sets this up beautifully. No music is being played. You just hear the fighting, sound effects, you got the witnesses, people watching. Visually, technical wise, it's fantastic. But here's the problem. The fight choreography is awful. The sound effects are terrible. It makes me think of like that old Adam West Batman stuff with the pew and the pow. It's awful. And then a lot of the time when you really look at this, the punches don't even connect. This is awful. This fight, bro, I'm sorry. The fight choreography in this just showcases Christopher Nolan. I'm sorry. You know how to direct spectacle, but your fight scenes, fight choreography is terrible. You know, Batman goes into this, you know, trying to get back in the game, take a while to get back in the swing of things. Bruce Wayne gets his ass whipped. He should have listened to his mentor, Alfred. And speaking of my cocaine, Alfred, you know, usual. He has the greatest speeches in the world.
You see only one end to your journey. Leaving is all I have to make you understand. You're not Batman anymore.
Bruce Wayne's trying to build himself back up, then he gets broken down and put in this pit, and it's stupid because it's like if Bane really wanted to torture Batman, you should have broke his arms and his legs, and then he can't recuperate from that, and then he'll be alive at the same time, and he's tortured, you know, his arm's broken physically and soul-wise is what you wanted to do, but it's a movie, and you gotta have your happy ending, so of course, you know, he gets him in a situation that he can get out of. He gives him hope, and that's the thing. It seems like a lot of people are confused about that. It makes sense, I guess, you know, for Bane, because it's like Ra's al Ghul in the first film and ties back in the first film Ra's al Ghul wanted to destroy Gotham from the inside out, and that's what Bane's gonna do. He's gonna continue Ra's al Ghul's destiny of destroying Gotham from the inside out. So he wants to give Gotham this false sense of hope that they can survive the ordeal that they're going through. They have this nuclear bomb. He tells the public that, oh yeah, you know, a trigger person and you and people have the trigger and they can detonate it when stupid stuff happens. But in reality, the core of the reactor of the bomb is melting and it's gonna blow within a matter of months, and that's what Bane's agenda is. He wants to give, like what he's giving Bruce. You can climb out of this pit. The Lazarus pits, you know, is what they're trying to iterate here, which is like, you know, in the comics, the Lazarus pits, it gives you your youth and all that stuff back and rejuvenates you, and that's what happens with Batman. He gets rejuvenated while he's in these Lazarus pits. So it makes sense comic book wise, but story wise doesn't make sense, because Bane wants to break Batman down, give him this false sense of hope that he can escape, when in reality he could escape. So Bane is surprised that Batman escaped the pit that he was like, yeah, people are able to break out of. I mean, someone actually did it, which was Miranda Tate, which it set up to where it's like it was Bane, but it was really Miranda Tate. That's what I'm saying. This movie's so convoluted. There's so much going on. The mystery is what holds your attention, and then once everything is revealed, it's stupid. Bane is set up to be a henchman. The person who set all of this up to Gotham to go down is Miranda Tate in this stupid fashion, where, you know, the fight scene at the end is nice, you know, with the war and everyone fighting. Bane and Batman are fighting, and the fight choreography is stupid, but cinematic wise it's beautiful. And then Bane gets his ass whipped, you know, and it's like they try to set this up where, you know, like Bane in the comics, you know, the Venom thing is what fuels them, but they can't do that in this movie. And then so it's like these little tubes in his mask. They explain the mask is what holds his pain at bay when he got his ass whooped in the pit, and then, you know, Batman gets advantage of that, and then Batman beats Bane's ass, and then it's revealed that Miranda Tate is the henchwoman behind, or she's the boss behind all of this, and Bane is the henchman, and so all his setup is worthless now. And then, you know, a little reveal, you know, there's a little dialogue where the villain reveals their plan to the fucking hero for what reason, stupid, stabs Batman, and then Batman's like, oh, why'd you stab me, and all this kind of stuff. And then she reveals her plan, and, you know, they block the bomb with the EMP so it doesn't blow. And it's just like, you know, it's just so much going on in this movie. It's like, yeah, the mystery is the intriguing factor, and cinematic wise, technical wise, spectacle wise, it holds your attention. But then once everything is revealed to you, once you actually pay attention to the story, you realize this is all just stupid. And then, you know, you got what Christopher Nolan is good for, you know, the spectacle, the action, you know, the bat pod, and, you know, that action flying around, and the Tumblr is getting blown up, and Selina Kyle on the bat pod blowing stuff up, and the music, you know, crescendoing, and it's very nice, you know, it's in the snow. And you know, the worst death ever, I agree. Stupid, you know, movie stuff, because it's like, she's like, yeah, my father's work, you know, I avenged my father, and then she dies, and it's like, you know, that stupid breath thing, she's dead. And then, you know, another stupid thing, it's in the comics, oh yeah, Selina Kyle and Batman have a relationship, but in this movie it feels forced. I don't care, it doesn't feel genuine, you know, whatever, they kiss, and I'm like, it's awkward, why? And then Batman, you know, he's talking about this autopilot and the bat thing with Lucius Fox, you know, in the movie, and it's just like, it's an excuse for Batman. Should have died. This is an excuse for Batman to live, because there's no autopilot. And then he flies away with the bomb, and he saves Gotham, and, you know, he's supposed to be dead, but then Alfred, you know, he had this fantasy, I see you in this place with, you know, whatever, and they have that fantasy, and it's nice. Batman lived, he gets to have his happy ending. I'm just not interested by the end of it all. I'm not interested. I'm like, you know, visually, technical wise, music wise, cinematic wise, this is a beautiful film. It's a beautiful film. But story wise, I don't give a shit. So in conclusion, yeah, okay, Dark Knight Rises, you know, it's a beautiful film. It has interesting themes that I don't want to get into, because I don't really feel like I know what I'm talking about in that regard. But, you know, the themes about classism, I don't even know. All the technical aspects in this movie are grandiose. But then when you look at it, you know, deep within its levels, you know, you really dissect it and you pay attention to the story, It's like it's so convoluted. There's so much going on here. The mystery is what holds your attention. You want to know what's going on. And then once everything is revealed and you know what's going on, it's kind of disappointing. Bane was set up to be a henchman this whole time. Miranda Tate's the true villain. This has to tie into the first movie, Batman Begins, and it also has to connect to the Dark Knight, but it's trying to be greater than the Dark Knight, but it isn't. It's like this. It's good. This is The Dark Knight Rises. It's a good movie. It's just like, yeah, man, there's so many problems I just have with this movie, man. It's just like, I really want to enjoy it, and I do enjoy it. It's a good movie. It's really, really good technically wise. Technical. It's like cinematic, it's spectacle. But you really look at it and dissect it. Story-wise, it's just like, nah, man, none of this. The Dark Knight Rises, man, is good, but it could have been better. That's all I have to say.
Sometimes patience is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing.